Last week we had one of the closest finishes of the year on the channel as Nicholas Samadillo got his 29th career win, edging out Laura Chung at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Well, now we come to a track that is nothing at all like the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it's our first road course of the season as well. It's also one of the fastest and most treacherous road courses that we go to. It's the Watkins Glen International. This here, the Lake Effect Ice Cream 175, the fourth race of the season in the 2024 Turkey Hill Truck Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Watkins Glen International. We are here for the fourth race of the season, the first road course. And this race, very early on in the season, the last time it was this early on in the season was 2020, and the gentleman alongside me was the one who ran that race. But we're back here with 13 laps of action. We're going to have a cycle of pit stops, and it's going to be fascinating to see how... I mean, I did it again. I kept on making fun of myself last night for saying that all the time. It's going to be very bewildering here at the Watkins Glen International. You can give me $5 now, Andrew, for me saying that, but it's going to be fascinating to see how it all ends up shaking out, considering who we got on the front row and who's right behind it. And Matt, it's your two trucks starting on that outside lane, which is the best place to start here at Watkins Glen. What does Blaine Ladovic need to do to take advantage of their good starting position and win this race here today? Maybe make it a 1-2 for Team Velocitar here in this Lake Effect Ice Cream 175.
No, obviously this is a pretty, this is a big race for us. Obviously every race is a big race, but this is our home race here for Team Velocitar, so it would definitely mean a lot to be able to get the victory here. And I think we'll be very competitive. I mean, we've got good starting position. We got to deal with Derek Hamill in front of us. We know he's got a fast truck. I mean, I know Igor Barreto, Drew Webb's guys have built a very fast truck there too, and never want to count out Roberto Crown Jr. So I think I like the starting position. Definitely going to take some work here though to win this one.
And it's going to be fascinating to see if you guys can move through the field and keep it up there and avoid making any contact with that outside wall. That's something we saw yesterday in the Pro Series races. Guys overshot the exit of turn 11 quite a bit in yesterday's race. However, the winner of that race, Drew Webb, did not ever hit that wall significantly, and because of that, he went on to lead every single lap and win the race. The only difference here today is that we have a cycle of pit stops, and it is a shorter race as well, so these guys have to go quick right off the gate, and we're going to have to see how it ends up shaking out for these drivers as we go along. Here's that lineup in the points standings after 3 races, and Thomas Troxel, who got the win 2 weeks ago at Darlington, is still your points leader by 8 points ahead of Nicholas Samadillo right there. Downside for Nicholas Samadillo, he starts all the way back in 34th. He was one of those drivers who overshot turn 11 quite a bit in qualifying yesterday, or actually 2 days ago, and he is starting deep in the field for this one. Blaine Keys, however, has a great opportunity of taking the points lead here, only 10 points behind there, starting in the 4th position. LJ Semedo is 15 points behind, and Laura Chung is 18 points behind coming into this event. We'll go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here from the Watkins Glen International. And as we saw, Igor Barreto starting on the pole position for this race here today. Of course, as we have seen, though, many times in the past here at Watkins Glen, that inside lane is not necessarily the best place to start, which means that Roberto Crown Jr. may get the jump on the start and take control of this race early on. A huge opportunity for them, looking to get their first career win on the channel. This would be a huge win to do it in front of all these Grattan Autosport drivers, essentially. You got Blaine Keys, Derek Hamill, a couple of those Grattan affiliate drivers right there. And then Ladovic, Charette, Zachary Fitzwater. Of course, Fitzwater won the opening race of the season at Daytona. Watch out for him in this race on the road course. Leonard Kosterman and Rogel Dorn, a couple of dark horses right here, no doubt about it. Both of these drivers could find themselves up front as this race moves on. And we got ourselves Eric Monaco and Aaron Abel rounding out the top 10 starting positions here from Watkins Glen. Thomas Troxel, our points leader, starts very deep in the field. We'll have to see how well he can maneuver that. And of course, we mentioned Nicholas Samadillo starting all the way back in 34th for this race. Not going to be the best starts for these guys. They only have 13 laps to move up. Our top 2 in points could very well fall back in the points heading into Bristol next week. And Blaine Keys in a great position to take that points lead, which I know you love to hear. All right, Matt, how's it going to go down? Who's going to get this race victory here after 13 laps at Watkins Glen?
Well, I'm going to be really bold here. and I'm going to take the driver who won here in the Cup Series not that long ago. Started in the 6th position in that Arctic Vibe truck. I think Ludovic Charette is going to find her way to the front today and win this race.
And she needs it too. 22nd in points coming into this race here today. Not at all the start that she was hoping for, defending her Turkey Hill Truck Series championship. We're going to have to see if she can move her way up past Blaine Keys, past Igor Barretto, and even past Roberto Crown Jr. to get this race victory. Of course, she dominated this race in the Cup Series a month and a half ago. You know she's got the capabilities of doing. We'll have to see if she can pull it off. And they're going to round the last couple of corners right here. Here we go. Only 13 laps today. We had 15 yesterday in the Pro Series race, and some of these guys, including Blaine Keys, Barretto, and Hamill, were in that race. So we'll have to see if they learn anything from what happened yesterday. I know Barretto would like to go a little bit longer than he did yesterday. We'll have to see if he can do so. He's going to lead him to the green flag, and here we go. Our first road course of the season is underway. We're green flag racing in the Lake Effect Ice Cream 175. Uh-oh, it sounds like we got something going on back in there. Justin Zeidel in the 88 machine. Went off course there and had contact with somebody. I don't think anyone has significant damage from all that. There is a bit of damage, I think, on the 72 of Logan Williams. And it has not been a good start to the season for Logan Williams, even though he has won 2 poles already this season. Not at all the start he wanted. And we completely missed the battle for the race leader. Roberto Crown Jr. able to hold off the 13 of Igor Barretto and take the race lead here on lap number 1. Then it's Barretto, Blaine Keys, Derek Hamill, Ludovic Charette, and you got Rogeldorn there in 6. A very tight battle up front, but how about Roberto taking this race lead on lap 1?
Yeah, this is a strong start to this race from Roberto Crown Jr. I mean, bear in mind, again, the 4 Ford pickup trucks lined up behind him are all affiliated under the Grattan Industries banner, so there's some strong firepower lined up behind here. So this is going to be a really, this is going to be a tough battle for this 01 truck today, but these are the legacy races. We see Hamill diving to the inside of Keys. Charette is already up a position. Keys is up a position. Drivers moving their way through here as now we're going to enter into the funnest part of the racetrack, the turn 11 slide. This should be fun.
We'll have to see who survives this right here. We saw a lot of guys overshoot it yesterday in the Pro Series race, and we're running the same strength here today, so watch out. Roberto's going to be a little wide here on the corner. And they're not going to hit it, but Barretto's going to move to the inside, and they're going to be side by side across the line. Barretto is going to lead lap 1 and get a bonus point towards the championship for that. Some good stuff here at Watkins Glen, and they're side by side again. It's just like the start of the race. But Roberto's going to get the outside lane to their advantage again, and the 01 takes it back away from Barretto here on lap 2.
And Keys got himself a little bit of some breathing room from the 51 of Hamill, who's had a really nice, consistent start to this season, I must say. With these 2 Celsius trucks here sandwiching the 51, Charette did not have a good run at Atlanta, had a terrible, just terrible all weekend. Keys had a great run going until a bad pit stop, but he's now going to settle in here. And again, Keys and Charette were 1-2, I believe, in the Cup race earlier this season, so they know how to get around this place with a rapid amount of speed. But we're going to see if Roberto Crown Jr. is going to be under some massive pressure here as we head down into the toe of the boot from Igor Barretto.
And one of the things I absolutely love about this track is there's so many passing opportunities, including
that
right
one right
here
there
at the toe. And how about the 13 of Igor Barretto? Going into the heel, turn 8 right here. He's got the advantage into this corner. We'll have to see if they can maintain this battle going in the turn 9 and through the rest of the course. But Barretto's going to be on the outside lane now, and you don't want to get stuck and allow Blaine Keys to make a move on you, but they're going to remain side by side as they come to turn 10. And these 2 guys are pretty equal. I think that 13 is much quicker, though, than the 01. Going to try to get the advantage on the outside through turn 10. Maybe clear the 01 going into turn 11. Regardless, he's got the inside, and he has done it. Igor Barretto has clear for the race lead. Roberto Crown Jr. going wide. Blaine Keys going wide. Contact between Emily DeBenedetti and Rogeldorn right there. A couple of our international drivers getting into it there, and you got Fitzwater behind all that. Charette making a move there on Blaine Keys, who lost position to Derek Hamill, and now Igor Barretto's going to try to pull away with this thing. He's led every lap so far. Number 13 won yesterday with Drew Webb, and number 13 continues to lead here I mean, yesterday was, I just realized this. Yesterday was Friday the 13th, and the number 13 led every single lap. I wish I noticed that when I called it yesterday. Well, it's now September 14th, and it's still number 13 leading here in the Truck Series at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, and I don't see any 14 trucks anywhere near the front of this field, unfortunately. So we can't get September the 14th winner, but Igor Barretto is a guy you expect to be really strong on these road courses, and he's showing some really great pace here today. Roberto Crown Jr., I mean, I'll keep saying it throughout this race, but this is a fantastic start to this race for this 01 truck here. They're looking really, really strong here early. Derek Hamill to the inside of the 01, and Ludovic Charette, who won the Cup race here, to the inside of her teammate Blaine Keys, Rogel Dorn, Zachary Fitzwater back there. And I think you're going to actually have to start thinking about when you're going to want to make your pit stop here midway through this race, because we've seen before the timing of when you make a pit stop here can be so significant on the outcome of this race. But this is side by side all throughout the field. What an exciting start to this race.
It has been a great one so far here at Watkins Glen. Barretto is pulling away, and even though Roberto led a majority of that run, Barretto is the only one who has led laps so far in this race. Getting crazy back in here. Roberto a little wide again. Derek Hamill to the inside. Blaine Keys and Ludovic Charette still side by side. They say side by side for such a long time around this place. Keys actually going to be able to clear Charette right there, and Hamill will not be able to get around the 01. It's a near 2-second lead now. Barretto's got that clean racetrack ahead of him, and I feel like that 01's holding these guys up just a little bit. He's doing a great job holding these guys, but once Derek Hamill makes this move, that's going to open the door for Blaine Keys. How about Rogel Dorn? Charette's falling back, stuck in a bad entry through the S's right there. Fitzwater's going to get around her. DeBenedetti might get around her, and Leonard Kochman is right here as well in the 39 machine. And here we go, Derek Hamill looking to make the move going into the carousel. It's always a treacherous spot. We saw a massive wreck here yesterday between Igor Barretto and Stuart Gratton. And thankfully we've kept it clean for the most part. Andrew Miller has not had the best of runs, and Bryce Egan, I think, might have gotten caught up in whatever that might have been. But Zidell has rejoined the back of the field, so just the 5 and the 69 off the pace at this point, 4 laps into this race.
A very clean race, though, besides some chaos in the back of this field. We haven't seen anybody really eat the turn 11 wall yet. I mean, we saw in the sprint series, we saw a lot of people just bin at every single lap in that turn 11 wall. But you see here in these series, you got more developed drivers, more developed trucks. They handle a little better. They don't take turn 11 as aggressively. So you don't see as much of that here in the truck series or in the Cup series. Going back through the field, see Logan Williams, Thomas Troxel not having a good day. Nicholas Samadillo has barely moved up at all. He's had more positions gained probably just from these guys who have wrecked and actually passed trucks. So that's not insignificant, as Thomas Troxel's ahead of him a little bit, but also Blaine Keys is running up there near the front of this pack. Ludovic Charette, the defending champion.
And we got some major contact there. That was Jack Haas and Matthew Burnett. And everyone will avoid the 14. Not at all. A good start to the season for the Beacon Quantum Racing team. They have really struggled after winning the Drivers' Championship with Ludovic Charette last year. And that's their driver, Matthew Burnett. Falling back there after overshooting the corner. Duncan Ward not too much better in that 18 machine, running 23rd right now. And a minor accident right there, nothing too crazy. Barretto's still holding on to a 2-second lead, and Roberto Grandier is still holding on to second right here, Derek Hamill. Great run for Roberto. How about Rogel Dorn, though? He's gotten around both of the Velocitar trucks. I'm actually a little surprised, and I think he might be as well. Both of the Velocitar trucks actually slipping back a little bit. Charette's falling back to 8th, and Blaine Keys holding on now to the 5th position. This 98 of Rogel Dorn looks really quick here today. That's his owner in the Wall Cup Series, just ahead of him of Derek Hamill, who is still trying to get around this 01 as Barretto continues to lead this race here at Watkins Glen. And here we go for second.
Kind of wonder if the 1 and the 2 just ate their tires up a little too much trying to get through the 01, which was unsuccessful. We see Derek Hamill. I think he's going to finally clear this 01. Comes into this race looking pretty decent in the points. 8th in points after Atlanta. Average finish at 12, and I mean we know the speed of those Grattan Auto. Igor Barreto flirting
these
with
tires
it.
are starting to go out on these guys now. Rogel Dorn and Bertrand Crown Jr. got a little close. That was a pretty significant hit for Rogel, and Blaine Keys is going to get an advantage from that. And now Derek Hamill second, and now Derek Hamill is going to try to run down this 13. Grattan Autosport won last week at Atlanta with Nicholas Samedeo. Will they win again this week with their other driver of Derek Hamill, who only has that one win at Daytona from last year in the ratings era of the Turkey Hill Truck Series? We'll have to see how it all ends up shaking out for those guys. Meanwhile, a couple of guys who have struggled in this race who we thought were going to have pretty solid seasons. Of course, then again, the road courses can definitely shake the field up quite a bit. Nathan Stapleton, not a good day for him. Logan Williams, again, struggling. And then you got Thomas Troxel deep in the field still, and Nicholas Samedeo. It's just very hard to work your way through the field here around this racetrack. However, all 36 drivers still on the lead lap in this race. Nobody has been wrecked out, which is good to see, so not a wreck fest here at Watkins Glen. But can anyone catch up to Igor Barreto? Derek Hamill might have something to say about that. Keep in mind, we still have that cycle of pit stops to go through as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't count. I mean, I know some of these drivers are starting to fall a little ways off the pace, but I wouldn't count any of this top 4 or 5 out of this race just yet. You know, we've seen crazier things happen. We've seen you get an undercut and have a great outlap. Somebody gets in the wall, maybe some drivers wreck each other. I mean, we've seen some crazy things here happen over the years at Watkins Glen, so I wouldn't count some of these drivers up front here out of it just yet. This has been a very exciting battle here for position. Rogel Dorn making his way through the field. Dorn having a fantastic run in that Trackhouse racing truck. He's going to try to the outside of Keys. Now, oh, is Keys coming to pit? Nope, he's not. Just a low entry there to the corner, but boy, oh boy. This is going to be fun here when they start coming down pit road. Hopefully they don't cause any wrecks doing that.
They have to be careful not to get into each other, trying to come down the pit lane and off. It's actually a very difficult exit off the pit lane. Sometimes these guys actually hit that inside wall a little bit at times. How about Eric Monaco driving his way into the top 10 there for the TP Motorsports machine? These guys have found a lot more success this year than they did last year, even though Eric's 29th in points coming into this race. He's been very quick in qualifying a lot of these times, and once again, a solid qualifying effort. And he's running 10th right now. Jesse Turner, the gentleman who gave us the name for pretty much all the Watkins Glen races here on the channel. He's running there in 11th. I know he'd love to get a race win here at Watkins Glen at some point in his career, and we'll have to see if maybe he can luck his way into one here today. Brian Webb is there versus teammate is Igor Barreto, and he's got a solid run there in 12th. LJ Semedo, Aaron Abel, and then Caleb Rose rounds out the top 15. Not been a good season for Broke Boys Garage this season either. They have massively struggled, and you can just tell Blaine's having some trouble getting around this 01. How about, we mentioned Jesse Turner, how about his teammate Emily DeBenedetti running 7th for Andrews Racing? A really solid run for Andrews Racing here in this race. Both of their drivers top 11 right now. And if things get crazy up front, which, with the 13 is far ahead of the 51, and the 51 is far ahead of the 01. I don't know if it's going to get crazy with the top 2. But got to give Roberto a lot of credit for just hanging it in there. Blaine's going to really overshoot there. It's going to allow Rogel Dorn to get a run on the outside lane right here. And that 98 machine, as long as... Oh, he's going to hit the wall significantly right there. Not going to get the advantage. And Fitzwater going to make a move. Charrette's going to try to make some moves right here. They're still just scrambling behind Roberto Crown Jr., who continues to hold on to that 3rd position.
That's the second time Rogel Dorn's had a big shot to that turn 11 wall, which I think is going to drastically impact his chances of getting a good finish in position. I mean, we're going to probably see either fuel only or 2 tires here on this final stop, given we're only going to have a handful of laps left when they do finally come down pit road. But I was going to lead into Andrews Racing is having a fantastic day here so far, with the 57 and the 83 both up here in the top 11. They're having a great day, as there goes Jesse Turner to the inside of the 2, trying to break his way into the top 10 or 11th right now. So this has been a strong run here for John Andrews' team. Really strong, great to see them kind of leading the Chevy banner here at the moment here in the Truck Series. But Roberto Crown Jr. Oh, no, that's my bad. They drive Fords. Well, yeah.
They drive Fords.
everybody who's smart tries a Ford. This is the Ford-dominated series at the moment, but I think we're going to start seeing drivers come down pit road. I think Blaine Keys just might want to come down pit road early just to get out from behind this 0-1 truck of Roberto Crown Jr., who's clearly been holding Blaine up here. And I think Igor keeps dipping off of turn 9 there like he's going to come to pit road, so he's got to do it soon here. We're coming to lap 9.
And he's going to wait another lap. He's got to be careful. Oh, he's going to gain a bit of damage right there. You can't gain too much damage, or otherwise you're going to have to repair it. And you see the damage on Roberto Crown Jr. That's going to affect them and Rogel Dorn as well. And that's going to affect Jesse Turner, who almost got sent around there. And he saved it, but he's going to lose a lot of momentum. And then on top of that, he's going to have to repair that damage. If you do that after the pit stop, it doesn't really mean as much if you do it before the pit stop. But if you do it before the pit stop, it's going to hold you down. And just ask Blaine Keys in that Southern 500. And how about this 57? All of a sudden, Emily DeBenedetti's up to 4th now for Andrews Racing. And if she gets around this 01, there's a chance that she can have a shot. And she might actually get around this 01 right now. Blaine struggled to get around Roberto this entire time. DeBenedetti is right behind him. And to the inside for position. That's for 3rd. She's going to get around the 01 right there. And how about this 57? A very strong truck that Andrews Racing has brought today for Emily DeBenedetti. Will she close in on Hamill and Barretto? As this race closes in, how will the cycle of pit stops go as well? That's the big question. But the 57 got around the 01 very easily right there. Fitzwater battling with Keys right now. And you got Rogel Dorn, Leonard Kochmer, and Ludovic Schret there. Eric Monaco still battling with a 10th position ahead of Brian Webb.
This is a strong run here for this 57, got by Roberto Crown Jr., but now it is, I think, between the top 2, barring something absolutely chaotic, to settle this out here for the win. It's the 13 of Barretto, the 51 of Hamill, 2 veterans to the channel, more so known for their ownership dominance than their driving careers, but here we go.
Hamill's going to stay out, and that's going to be the first lap led by a car number number 13. All weekend long. Drew Webb led every lap in the race yesterday in the Pro Series. Only Barretto and Crown coming down right here. So we'll have to see if Barretto gets an advantage on fresher tires, but everybody else staying out right here. And we'll have to see if it's a clean stop for Barretto. I'm going to focus on that. I don't think it's going to be a clean stop for Roberto, as they have significant damage from overshooting that wall there. Long. Ooh, a very quick stop. Only 2 tires, though, for Barretto, so I don't know if he's going to gain much of an advantage. And again, too, I don't think many guys are going to really be taking tires, which means you could see some fuel only out of some of these guys right here trying to gain the advantage on the 13 machine, and Hamill might be one of those drivers trying to do so. Hamill's going to get a bonus point towards the championship for leading that lap. He's got a significant lead on DeBenedetti, 4.5 seconds right now. This 57 leading the rest of this pack, and Fitzwater with a great run. Very solid season so far for Fitzwater. 2 top 10s, got the win at Daytona. Here he is, looking to get his second top 5 of the season. He's 10th in points, only 27 behind. And guys like Troxel and San Badillo, who came in top 2 in points, still struggling mightily in this race. They're all trying to get around Turner, who has the damage from getting spun around right there. And San Badillo still just mired in the back of the field. Oh no, goodness. Hamill blew up! Hamill just blew up from the race lead, jammed everybody up! Oh my goodness, that completely changes everything! And DeBenedetti is now the leader of the drivers who have yet to come down. Barretto's got a clean racetrack ahead of him. And Derek Hamill, I believe, just blew an engine on lap 10. Absolutely unbelievable. These guys got around. LJ Semedo and those in the back got held up. Here we go. Rest of the field coming down the pit lane right here. And now the big question is, will DeBenedetti go fuel only? Try to beat Barretto off the pit lane. Oh man, that's gotta hurt for Grattan Autosport, because there are other drivers struggling in this race already. And we got more contact in the back. Eric Monaco in the 28. And it appears to be Skylar Taylor, Joe Rakowski, and Skep Silverback there.
One truck.
And Fitzwater already done with his pit stop, but here comes Barretto in the 13. Well, coming in that lap early was the smart thing for Barretto. He also has the 2 fresher tires, while Fitzwater does not have fresh tires on his truck. Wow, everything just completely got turned over on its head right there. We're going to have a lot of drivers who fail to finish this race. Charette's done in the 2. She got caught up in that when Derek Hamill had his issue. And Charette's going to fail to finish this race. You just never know how it's going to turn out.
I am surprised in many fronts. That was a massive... I have no idea what just happened entering the pit road. That was a ginormous shunt for the 28 of Eric Monaco. We saw the top of his truck, which is never a good sign. But Igor Barretto just needs to hit a couple more clean laps here. He should be good to end, because I don't think anybody... I think there was one truck who might have stayed out there, but this should be the top 4 to battle. Yeah, I think it was at 52 of Matthew Huber, I think stayed out, but he's about to get absolutely eaten up here. Barretto is not that far behind. So this is going to cycle to Barretto, De Benedetti, and then Fitzy and Keys is in there in 4th, but Nicholas Samadillo, I think, has jumped his way into the top 10.
I think he has. How about that for Samadillo, who is trying... Well, he's not going to keep Keys behind him the way they currently run. But again, Troxel. Troxel's found himself up here as well. They went fuel only, they had a quick stop, and now they're running top 5 because they gained a lot of ground from that whole melee with Derek Hamill, and now they're both running top 10. And Troxel, more likely than not, is going to retain the points lead once this is all said and done. And you got Samadillo there in the 23, who is a little ways behind. Running around 14th across the line right there. I think he'll be 13th once it's all said and done. 2.5 seconds. No, never mind. Excuse me. It's way more than the 2.5 seconds because it was still Hubert who led that lap. So Barretto is now, in fact, the race leader, and it is about 4 seconds between Barretto and Zachary Fitzwater for the race lead now. And there's the benefit of coming down before everybody else. You don't have that to worry about. Then again, what happened with Derek Hamill could have happened to anyone anywhere. But that stuff seems to happen to the race leader quite a bit on the channel. And once again, the race leader ended up with a massive issue, and that's bad for him because he was going to get a good points day. He was going to move up in the points, and now he's going to fall back because of that. But Igor Barretto in the 13 machine comes into this race 25th in points. Hasn't really been the start to the season that he has hoped for, but this has been a perfect race for him. And only unless he has the same issue that Hamill did, he's got himself another race victory here in the Turkey Hill Truck Series.
Yeah, and I think some of this buffer was definitely helped out by the fact that Hamill did slow up, and we can see from the amount that Nicholas Samadillo and some of these other drivers gained, it sort of flipped the midfield on its head here, but I don't know if it would have changed the outcome of what we are seeing here up front, even if Hamill didn't blow a motor, because this 13 truck... Oh, that's not good, Thomas. Don't do that. Don't do that. But this 13 truck, once he was able to dispatch of Roberto Crown Jr. at the start of the race, he has just been absolutely on rails here all day. Zachary Fitzwater has gotten up to 2nd around De Benedetti. So great run for both of these two. And Fitzy really showing that he's got the pace to belong at the front of the field this season. Keys in 4th at the moment, still searching for that first win of the year, but he's in the point hunt. And then the 2 ERR drivers, Akashmer and Troxel, once again showing they have pace. Look at this 18 truck of Duncan Ward. It was midfield, and we were talking about Beacon Quantum struggles. And Justin Zeidel wrecked on lap one, in turn 1.
Yeah.
Was dead last.
In 9th.
In 9th.
10th. It's LJ Cemento, Jack Kaz, Andrew Williams, Nicholas Samadillo, Philip Torres, and it's Kayla Rose, Jesse Turner, Nathan Stapleton, Aaron Abel. There's Skip Silver in the 06, Corey Case, Rogeldorn, Logan Williams, Matthew Burnett, Laura Jung, Avery Alford, Bryce Egan, Christian Vargas, and Andrew Miller. The only guys not out of the race. Brian Webb was out, Joe Rutkowski, Skylar Taylor, Ludovic Charette, Bruno Diacomo, the 28 of Eric Monaco, and then, of course, Derek Hamill will finish in last. But it's Agar Barretto in the number 13 who was ahead of all of that. Didn't see any of that here today. Has one more corner to his second win in the Truck Series in the ratings era, and a second win for Webb Racing Enterprises, and Drew's going to be happy about this one. Agar Barretto, across the line, wins the Lake Effect Ice Cream 175 here at Watkins Glen. And a battle for second. Emily DeBenedetti's going to take that second spot away from Fitzwater right at the end of the race. Great run for Roberto Crown Jr. They'll finish 7th. Duncan Ward will get a top 10. Justin Zidell will get a top 10. And LJ Semedo rounds out the top 10 for the home team of Dracoan Racing Enterprises. Stapleton and Caleb Rose go around. And Caleb Rose is going to lose a few spots right there. He will finish ahead of Skep Silver, but barely. Corey Case, Rogel Doran, the last ones around there. Of course, Rogel had a slow pit stop because he had the damage from overshooting the exit of turn 11. And these tires just got worn out so much, these guys kept on sliding in the back. But Agar Barretto, even though he did actually do that a couple of times, he's got some damage to his truck. It didn't matter. He is your race winner here in this Lake Effect Ice Cream 175 at Watkins Glen.
That was a monster drive here from Barretto here today. I mean, almost 7 seconds over second place. Just absolute strong performance here from Webb Racing Enterprises. And the 99 was hovering at about 12th to 14th for the most part of the race until Derek Hamill dropped a motor. So I think Webb Racing Enterprises, Drew Webb showing that his trucks have really got some pace, made the switch over to Ford this year, and it is working out fantastic for him so far, as Barretto picks up the victory here at Watkins Glen.
And this team was strong last year as well. They won 2 races midway through the season, back-to-back with Brian Webb and Agar Barretto. But Barretto gets it done again. His second win in just a couple of weeks. He got the Pro Series win at Zen Choltis a few weeks ago, and now he's got this one right here as a driver. I'm sure he's happy about that one, and he's going to move up in the points as well. So will Fitzwater, so will DeBenedetti. And Blaine Keys isn't going to quite get that points lead. How about Troxel and Sam Medeo, and specifically Troxel taking advantage of that misfortune from Derek Hamill and moving themselves through the field there. That was a wild sequence right there. And Derek's going to finish dead last in this race. Not at all what Stewart wanted to see out of the driver who could have won this race ahead of Agar Barretto if things went a certain way. It was not meant to be. And of course, you guys saw the replays of that in the corner of your screen right there, so you know how it all went down. But final thoughts on this race, Matt. And next week it's Bristol, which your team won last year with Noah Clifton driving for you guys. How do you think that one's going to go down on the world's fastest half mile?
I think Bristol's going to be very interesting. I believe it was, correct me if Bristol was the 3rd race of the season last year, I think. it was a little earlier in the season. So it's going to be exciting to see how Bristol plays out with the development of these trucks at a different phase than they were last season. Obviously, we were really strong there last year. I still think we should have had a 1-2 in that race. Blaine was so strong early, and then Clifton and Diacomo had a fantastic battle in that race. It was awesome. So I think you'll see the heavy hitters out at Bristol, and it should definitely be a very exciting night of racing.
It definitely will. We're excited for that one. That'll be September 20th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. To put it ahead of some of the other Bristol races that are going on that night, and one that I hope to attend as well. But definitely a fascinating race here at Watkins Glen, no doubt about it. A lot of guys getting caught up in the accidents there, and definitely a shame to see all those guys get caught up, especially Hamill, who had a great run, but that's just the way it rolls sometimes. Ludovic Charette as well is also going to struggle. She's going to fall further back in the points as well, so tough break for all those guys. But hey, how about Agar Barretto, and how about the number 13 this weekend here at Watkins Glen? Drew Webb led every lap yesterday, and Agar Barretto didn't lead every lap in this race, but still got the race victory from the pole, and he's going to get maximum points from this race as well and move up in the standings. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Matt, and we'll see you guys next week from the Bristol Motor Speedway for the Rocky Ridge Trucks 250, the 5th race of the season in the 2024 Turkey Hill Truck Series. Thank you so much for watching once again. Here are the points for the Circular Truck Series after 4 races, and I will see you guys later.